At 1 p.m. Pacific Time on April 6, 2026, a semi-autonomous combat aircraft lifted off from a company-owned airfield in the California desert. It climbed, it flew, and then it didn't. The YFQ-42A, callsign Dark Merlin, came down shortly after takeoff at Gray Butte Airport near Palmdale, California. No pilot ejected because there was no pilot. The aircraft that just crashed isn't a test drone from a university lab or a hobbyist prototype. It's one of the most consequential military aircraft flying today. The future of American air power, a program worth nearly $1 billion in immediate contracts and eventually over $30 billion, just hit the California desert floor. And here is what nobody is telling you. The decision about who builds America's autonomous combat fleet for the next 30 years is due in less than 6 months. Welcome to the race that just got a lot more complicated. To understand what the crash actually means, you need to understand what was at stake before it now happened. Since 2024, the United States Air Force has been running one of the most consequential procurement competitions in modern aviation history. The program is called Collaborative Combat Aircraft, or CCA, and the concept is deceptively simple. Build a fleet of semi-autonomous drone wingmen that fly alongside crewed fighters like the F-35 and F-22. Extend their reach, absorb their risk, and multiply their firepower. Not science fiction, not a proposal, already flying. The Air Force's vision is to eventually field over 1,000 of these aircraft, roughly 2 for every advanced crewed fighter in the inventory. The Congressional Research Service estimates the long-term acquisition cost at approximately $30 million per drone. Run that arithmetic, and you arrive at a program worth north of $30 billion before a single round of follow-on development begins. 2 companies won the contracts to build production representative prototypes in April 2024. General Atomics Aeronautical Systems with their YFQ-42A Dark Merlin, and Anduril Industries with their YFQ-44A Fury. General Atomics achieved the first flight of the YFQ-42A in August 2025. Anduril followed with the Fury's first flight on October 31, 2025. Both companies then began integrating artificial intelligence-powered mission autonomy software, essentially the decision-making brain that allows the aircraft to operate semi-independently in flight. In February 2026, both drones crossed another critical threshold. General Atomics validated Collins Aerospace's Sidekick autonomy software, while Anduril completed the same process with Shield AI's HiveMind software and went one step further, demonstrating the ability to switch between autonomy software suites mid-air. That same month, Anduril started armed captive carry testing, strapping inert AIM-120 AMRAAM missiles to the Fury's airframe during live flights. Then Northrop Grumman entered the picture. In December 2025, the Air Force officially designated Northrop's Project Talon as the YFQ-48A and publicly described it as a strong contender, despite Northrop not being one of the 2 companies originally funded for prototype development. They were spending their own research and development money to stay in the race. 3 companies, 1 contract. A production decision is due by September 30th, 2026, and then 7 days ago, one of them crashed. Here is what the people inside this program feel right now, not the press releases. The actual human reality of what happened on April 6th. You have spent 16 months moving faster than any drone program in Air Force history. First flight in August 2025, 16 months after contract award. The Air Force Secretary personally called the pace unprecedented. You have been flying multiple production representative airframes simultaneously. You are in the technical maturation and risk reduction phase. And then one of your aircraft goes down minutes after takeoff. Your own airfield, in broad daylight. There is a specific kind of silence that follows an event like that. The silence of engineers who understand exactly what the timing means. The production decision isn't a distant milestone. It is expected within the next 6 months. The Department of Defense's newly released fiscal year 2027 budget documents already request nearly $1 billion to begin purchasing the first increment of CCAs. The evaluation boards are forming. The source selection is approaching, and your primary flight test asset just became wreckage in a California desert. This is exactly why we test, Air Force Secretary Troy Mike said the following day. It was the right thing to say. It was also a statement that contained a calculation. Because the question every Air Force evaluator is now asking is not whether a crash disqualifies a competitor, but what the crash reveals about the aircraft's readiness level. Was this a hardware failure, a software failure, or an interaction between the two? General Atomics has said it would be premature to speculate, but the investigation production takes time they may not have. Meanwhile, at Arsenal 1 in Columbus, Ohio, Anduril's production line for the YFQ-44A Fury began moving in March 2026. Production of military drones, not prototypes. The first aircraft off that line is scheduled for the summer, and when Anduril was asked about the crash, their spokesperson said 4 words: "All of our airplanes are fine." That is not a press statement. That is a message to a source selection board. Here is what the official narrative doesn't address. The Air Force has maintained publicly that 1 or more vendors could be selected for CA Increment 1 production. The program was specifically designed with continuous competition as a structural principle, which means, in theory, General Atomics could crash a prototype, complete their investigation, and still win. But here is the contradiction. The Air Force didn't just tell them to prove their aircraft fly. It told them to prove their aircraft are ready for production. A production representative airframe crashing during a routine flight causes concerns about manufacturing quality and process control. General Atomics has logged more than 9 million flight hours on their Predator family, but the YFQ-42A is a new airframe operating with newly integrated autonomy software. When you move this fast, risk concentrates, and sometimes it materializes at 1 p.m. on a Monday. Northrop Grumman has said nothing publicly since the crash. They don't need to. Their YFQ-48A Talon Blue has been flying. Their aircraft has not crashed, and the Air Force's willingness to consider them as a strong contender signals they are ready for a third option if the funded competitors stumble. The strategic implications extend well beyond these companies. The CCA program exists because the Air Force has a problem it cannot solve with manned aircraft alone. The F-22 production line is closed. The F-35 is being bought in reduced numbers. The F-47, America's 6th-generation fighter, won't reach operational capability until the early 2030s. In the meantime, the inventory of advanced crewed fighters is shrinking relative to the threat in the Pacific. The CCA answers that problem with affordable mass. Instead of a single F-35 flying alone, you send an F-35 with 2 CC, a wingman. The math changes. The calculus for an adversary changes. China's People's Liberation Army Air Force is watching. Beijing's own loyal wingman development, the GJ-11, is accelerating. The first nation to field a mature, scalable, manned-unmanned teaming capability doesn't just gain a tactical advantage. It defines air combat for the next generation. The CCA production decision is a strategic inflection point. This is why the crash carries such weight. The Air Force is choosing a manufacturer it trusts to build over 1,000 of these, reliably, while the geopolitical clock is running. Every day the investigation runs, Anduril's Ohio factory continues building aircraft while General Atomics' California flight line stands still. Somewhere inside the Pentagon, a source selection board is looking at flight hours, manufacturing consistency, and software integration milestones. They are now looking at a crash report that hasn't been written yet. General Atomics has a formidable case and a legendary record, but Anduril has production momentum and armed flight testing already under its belt. And Northrop Grumman is waiting in the wings with its own money on the line. The test that matters most right now is not the one happening in the desert. It is the one happening in the decision room, where the question is which company has earned the right to build the fleet that keeps American pilots alive. The production decision is expected by September 30th, 2026. Between now and then, General Atomics needs to demonstrate that whatever failed on April 6th has been fixed, all while Anduril's factory is already turning out aircraft. It is a race. And as of this week, one of the runners is standing still. The Air Force has a decision to make. 3 companies, 1 contract, and a crash report that hasn't landed yet. If you were on the source selection board right now, do you give General Atomics the time they need to earn their place back on merit? Or does Anduril's production momentum and Northrop's dark horse status change the calculation entirely? Give me your reasoning in the comments. That production decision leads directly to a question almost nobody is asking. When the winning drone finally flies alongside the F-47, it will be commanded by an AI system that has never flown in combat, using a doctrine that doesn't exist yet. That is the story we are covering next, and it is more unsettling than anything that happened in the California desert this week.